Hello. It's been quite a long time since I've did this kind of sort of video of me just talking. But today I tried to kind of think of a topic, although I didn't really spend too much time. I tried to think of a actual topic for 5 minutes, but I couldn't really think of anything, or I tried to, but I realized that it was a little too personal, or it was just something that I didn't necessarily want to share online. But, and so, instead, I thought, why not create another series of me just kind of rambling? Which, I mean, yeah, it's just gonna be me rambling. So, don't expect any structure or any important points. It's basically just going to be me rambling about whatever's on my mind for today's gonna be around 10 minutes because I don't want this to last for long, because I have a test coming up, kind of some sort of exam. I don't know what to kind of call it in English, but an exam that I should study for. I don't know how long I'm gonna study for it, but I will at least do some studying. And so yeah, so welcome to the first episode of, I guess I'm going to call it rambling, but again, I might think of another name for this series. But anyway, I guess we can talk about anything. And so I sort of felt like talking about life and just the future, my future, the future in general, you could say, of humans, or just humankind, and how we're going to evolve. And so, well, some things that have been kind of fascinating me is kind of the progression of AI, and which is artificial intelligence, if you don't know. What else? I mean, I guess that was something that was kind of constantly running in my mind, because it kind of made me come to thought experiment, I guess you could say, of being what would happen if we were to kind of implant brain chips, so that we could be super intelligent. Well, it's what would the point be of living if we had that ability to do so? And we don't even have to kind of go that deep. Well, we can talk about what do we do when most labor work is kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Replaced. Yes. What's going to happen? And it's one thing, it's I'm sort of interested in music, but I think we all know that there's kind of AI that can make music. And so I asked my friends, I asked my friends a question, which is, if AI made sort of pretty nice sounding music, and you just put on a famous person's name, Ed Sheeran or Bruno Mars, whatever, right? You just put up a random famous person's name on there, and it's I think we've all heard of deep fakes, which is kind of you can kind of put someone's face onto an image that wasn't necessary. You can make people say things what? I don't know what. You can, by having a lot of data, you can kind of make them do and say whatever, or at least make it seem like they did it when they did not. And so, if I were able to kind of, well, let's just take Ed Sheeran for example, to take his voice and to kind of use it as like the voice of the song, you could say, and then put it onto a track and have AI make the music. I'm sorry, I'm not kind of wording this too well, but I'm just gonna post this because life is an experience. Life is an experience, you could say, and don't expect to be perfect. That sounded horrible, but I think most people can understand what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say is just do stuff, especially when the consequences are very low. It's the best to kind of experiment. It's definitely not as kind of, you could say, adventuring, but it's very worthwhile to kind of adventure while you still can. It's definitely why parents, I guess, or adults would recommend children to try new things more, and not just kind of stick to what you're used to, which is something that I kind of did. Because for some very odd reason, I wanted to be mature when I was very young, you could say. But I think that was actually kind of self-limiting, because in a way, when you become mature, you kind of have these strict values, and so you don't really kind of step out and try to learn more about the world, because it's like when you're mature, it usually means that, at least my current perspective of kind of maturing is, yeah, you have a pretty good, well grasp on the world and how it functions. And I think as a child, I mean, I'm not really a child, I'm a teenager, but as someone at my age and at this kind of status, you could say, I guess, I think it would be a lot more beneficial if I were to kind of be more childlike instead of trying to be an amazing adult, right? Or not amazing, I mean, to be sort of mature, which I don't really know what that even is. What being mature is. Like, what is being mature? Is it being like a responsible adult? It's like, what? I don't know. Kind of just talking random blanks, which is today's video. And so don't expect too much, but I don't know. You can kind of just join me along. You could also like put this as like a podcast. I mean, isn't this kind of like most podcasts, you could say? Not really, because, I mean, who knows? I've only seen like at most like 10 podcasts in my life. And most of them are pretty informational, or at least pretty interesting. But it's like, who knows? Maybe this podcast's just talking about like nothing at all. Maybe they're making fart jokes. Maybe they're like children who may be even more knowledgeable than me, because I don't really have much experience in the world. I'm pretty, you could say, limited in what I know, and so I'm terrible at conversation. But one thing is, I just don't really have much experience in conversation. The most, like, if I were to have a conversation with like someone in real life, I could probably last for like a few minutes, because I just don't know what to talk about. And it's like, it's a skill that definitely can be learned, but it's like, I sometimes find it very difficult to kind of keep up a conversation for a long time, which is a little personal. It's definitely a little personal, but I don't mind. I don't mind at all. I guess today we can sort of end it here, since I didn't bring any water into my room, so it's getting very thirsty, and I'm kind of just running out of things to say. Not necessarily. One thing is, it's just stuff that I'm just so thirsty and I kind of want to get water. So it was nice making this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you didn't, well, I hope you had a nice day, or have a nice night. just have a wonderful life, I guess you could say.